All right, class, let's go ahead and talk about control structures today. So far in your code, your programs haven't made any decisions. Today, that's going to change with our first control structure. So our first control structure is the if statement. So if statements. So the if statement allows our code to make decisions. And it's going to make decisions based off of Booleans. So remember our Boolean friends, true and false. And depending on which Boolean we have, our if statement is going to make a decision, or is going to control which code turns on and off. Let's take a look at how that works. So we have an if statement, and if is a reserved word in Java, then we have a space, then we open up a parentheses, and we have a condition in here. And this condition is going to evaluate to some kind of Boolean. So it's going to either be true or false in here. So this will end up being true or false. And there are lots of ways to do this. We're going to learn lots of ways to end up with true or false. Then we're going to have a curly brace, an opening curly brace. And then we're going to have some code in here. This can be one statement. It can be many statements. It could be 100 lines of code. It could be just one line of code. And then we're going to close our curly brace. And this is what it looks like in our code. And what's going to happen is, if our condition is true, then our green code will run. So if the condition is true, then we're going to step inside our if statement and run this code. If it's false, we're just simply going to skip the code and find the last curly brace and continue on from there. If it's true, once it finishes this code, it is also going to find the last curly brace and continue at the same place. So think of this as an on-off switch for the code in there. False skips and true enters it. So how do we get true or false? We're going to learn one way to get true or false right now, and that is with the equals operator. So we've learned that a single equal sign is the assignment operator. But we need the equality operator. And to do that, we simply add a second equal sign. So two equal signs is equality. We'll go ahead and make this more. This is equality. And it can be used for checking ints and doubles. So it's going to check if one int is equal to another int, or if one double is equal to another double. So what would this look like in code? Let's take an example here. So let's go ahead and say I have int, and let's go ahead and call this int small. And I'm going to give it the value of 10. Okay, so if int small has the value 10, I'll write a quick if statement down here. So if small double equals 10, then I'm going to run something. And I can run, let's say, system.out.println, and I can say, yay, it's equal. Okay? So now I have a control structure where if small is equal to 10, this will evaluate to true. Now, if I add another if statement here, and I say if small double equals 9, I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. I'll do another system dot out dot print, and I'll say small is 9. If we do a code trace of this, so we do a code trace of these lines here, and I say, so this is my output here, I have small as well. So small equals 10 here. And my output will be, yay, it's equal. But I won't print small is 9 because this is false, so I'm going to skip this. And then if I put down here at the very bottom a system dot out dot println, let's say end program, this will still say end program. Now, for a moment, as a thought experiment, think about what would happen if we flipped the value of 9. So what would happen? Take a moment to think about what the output would be if I changed the value of small to be 9. What would happen then? Well, if I changed the value of small to be 9, then our first if statement would actually evaluate to be false, and our second if statement would evaluate to be true. So our output would then be, so if small is 9, then we would get an output of small is 9 and end program. And in this way, our code is making a decision, or really we as programmers are making a decision, but our code is running the predetermined decision that we have made based on what is happening, or based on what the variable values are. So you can see this can become a very useful and very powerful tool quickly when we're using many if statements. Okay, this is if statements, and go ahead and get into the coding activities. See you guys in the